Reasonable contact, and now it's Walcott, and the Roadrunner is on his way. Alonso, last man back, releases it. Arshavin, 4! Just astonishing.
Hello and welcome back to the long-awaited second episode of the weekly podcast, an AFC Pödcast. I'm joined with Chris, Central Ramsey, and Scott at Perezov. We're joined after another defeat. We haven't had good luck since I've started this, but we went to Liverpool. Both teams needing a massive result, and only one team getting it. And of course, it wasn't us. Chris, did you see any other result than a loss here?
Well, going by the starting 11, yeah, it was pretty much a loss. I was going to say that.
Scott, would you agree? Would you say that starting 11 destined us to failure?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I was actually quite interested by it. Because I don't know about you, but the person I want to see on the team sheet more than anyone was Danny Welbeck. So to get him actually on the team sheet, I was thinking we would be playing two up front, maybe go a bit more direct, which Liverpool seemingly struggled against. It might possibly work in our favour. But was it just a total mistake to drop Alexis?
I think it was either going to work or it wasn't. I don't think the midfield was good enough to go up two up front.
The midfield just didn't have that depth to support that.
Yeah.
Do you believe these reports that John Cross has been saying that Alexis was dropped over reports, and I'll repeat, this was John Cross saying this, that Wenger dropped Alexis over rows with him and the teammates?
It was purely tactical, in my opinion. Like, we obviously wanted to play long balls to Giroud. That was essentially the plan. Couldn't do that with a 5', Alexis.
No.
Alexis is a professional. He got dropped numerous times at Barcelona and never said a word. So it's
the difference being he wasn't relied on at Barcelona, though.
That's a good point, but at the same time, it's like Alexis is a professional, and I doubt he would do it's not something Wenger would do either. He's known to do that before, but with Alexis, it's different. It's probably more tactical. It depends if he's dropped in the next game against Leicester. Is it?
It's Bayern and then Lincoln.
Yeah, I mean next Premier League game.
Oh, next Premier League game. Yeah, I believe it's Leicester at home. I mean, do you see him playing against Bayern though? Surely, or do you see we might change our starting 11 completely?
I think we're resting a few players, in my opinion. We were resting Alexis. That might be one of the main reasons, so we could actually fight back against Bayern.
Scott, is there any point in a fight back, or should we just say fuck it and put on Jeff?
Well, I mean, you can't just go out and get destroyed more. I mean, you have to try to do something, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I mean, I would hate going to the Emirates and walking away with a 10-2 scoreline. I would, personally, if we were to win or draw 2-2, I actually wouldn't mind that, because we did lose it in the first leg, and I just need some respect. I can't have two major losses.
Yeah. Unless Parrot scores, then I don't care.
I mean, that's the only thing that matters anymore.
Yeah.
If we're talking through the game, what happened on the first goal? Was it just poor defending, poor communication, excellent finish? What happened there, Chris?
Poor defending. I mean, when Kashani lost the header and someone just went in and finished it. Firmino went in and finished it, because it was basically just bad defending the whole game. it didn't help that Xhaka was playing as a box-to-box, so Coquelin was the guy having to drop in between his other backs.
We say that we hate having Coquelin in the defense, but we hate it even more when Coquelin does the box to box. Is the answer maybe don't ever think about playing Coquelin again?
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean,
right, that answers already 2 of the questions set in.
well, put it this way: Coquelin will have his uses, but it's not as a first teamer. It's someone you bring on to shore up the game, or if you need to. Yeah, basically, we can do a lot better than Coquelin in midfield next to Xhaka, and it's something we have to do.
So with the pivot seeming to be in place of Xhaka Ramsey before an injury and a long-term suspension, would you think Wenger might try that against Bayern?
Sorry, what was the question?
I said if with the partnership of Xhaka Ramsey seeming to get into gear before an injury and a suspension, do you think we might see that again against Bayern Munich?
I think that's the best option.
Yeah, I think it's either that or Wenger will try a Coquelin Ramsey pivot or something and try and press their midfield. But yeah, I don't know. I think Wenger will probably play Xhaka, Coquelin, Ramsey wide.
Ramsey wide on the right?
Yeah, that's what I reckon he'll do. Try and recreate just basically 2015.
What, beating them here again?
Yeah, basically that's what I reckon he'll do.
To be honest, if we win 2-0, I wouldn't complain. At Central Ramsey, what do you feel about Ramsey playing right-sided?
It depends on the midfield. Like, if we were playing Xhaka and El Neni, or
say it's Coquelin and El Neni.
If it's Coquelin El Neni, because that pivot has like no links to the forwards.
Yeah.
Ramsey does a job there, but it's not his long-term position. But short-term, like if needed, I think he's a good option there.
Yeah, it's true, but I mean, Scott, I'll come to you. As we're spending money on a forward who can play in all 3 positions, was it about 17.5 million? What is missing for Lucas Perez getting game time? Why are we going to Ramsey on the right as a Raumdeuter before we even try playing Lucas in a big game?
Well, I think Ramsey is better defensively than Perez. But in general, I have no idea. Like, if it was, say, Leicester at home, and whenever that is, and he started Ramsey ahead of him. If there was no other options besides Perez, I would question that.
Yeah, I feel really bad for Perez. I really feel like whenever he either comes on or starts, he adds some fluidity to our line that we don't often see.
Yeah, he creates chances.
Yeah, he scores a few too. But
yeah.
Okay, so on the second goal, was that? I mean, it was great. It was good play for Firmino, not being selfish. But I mean, did anyone try and defend again? Mané, the person who everyone said was the danger. Scott, why was he left so alone on that side of the box?
Well, just bad defending again. I think Chris has said this a lot, is when like our fullbacks don't really know the balance between attacking and defending. And in the first 2 goals, that was definitely there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of like a panic situation with as many Liverpool players were in the box at that time. And then Mane does what Mane does.
He's a really devastating player. Do you think more teams were in for him than we thought? Because it seems like such an obvious signing. Like, everyone's always looking for quality wingers. Why What Liverpool seemed unchallenged in the pursuit of him. What do you think that's the case, or do you think there would probably have been more interest?
Basically, it was basically his inconsistency with Southampton. Like he would go from being a 9 out of 10 winger for Southampton one week, then the next week he'll pull out a 3 out of 10 performance and just completely fail. That was basically it. That's why there was so many question marks why Liverpool was spent that much money on him. But yeah, Klopp has found some sort of consistency out of him, and he's been a great signing. And basically, yeah, that's why he didn't get many suitors, because he was inconsistent at Southampton.
So, second half, slight redemption for a mistake. Alexis Sanchez comes on. We see him actually like we're up for a half, and we see him ready to play. Was that the Alexis effect, or was there some sort of talk at half time? Do we think there was actually some motivation there, or yeah, as I said, do we just think it's players taking it into their own hands? That they saw disappointment and tried to fix it?
I think it was a bit of both. There could have been a team talk at halftime, but I think with just having Alexis on the pitch, it's going to spark some belief with the rest of them as well.
Yeah. Seeing oh, Chris, yeah.
I think the most of the effect was shifting Oxen to midfield and taking Coquelin off, rather than Alexis coming on. Like, but it was pretty much due to the fact we had a midfielder who would think about passing forwards and bringing the ball forwards a lot.
Yeah, I still noticed that often it seemed like Chambo was sitting much deeper than Xhaka, though. It didn't seem like the roles really swapped or anything. I was surprised by that, but it did seem to have him.
Xhaka's still a box-to-box.
Yeah.
Yeah, Xhaka's not being used right at all.
Yeah, if you watch Mönchengladbach last year, it's like totally different Xhaka.
Totally different.
You'd think we've got his brother instead.
On that, for a question from at Tactical Arson, where are we going wrong with Xhaka? Is it Arson misusing him? Is he struggling to adapt? What's up? In my opinion, I feel it's a little bit of both, but mostly not fitting the system that's so rigidly employed. I think. Yeah, after you, Chris.
For me, it's we should be building around Xhaka. That's plainly obvious. Like when Pep moved to Bayern and got Alonso, he immediately built the midfield around him. Like he bought Arturo Vidal, Thiago was there, so he built around Alonso, and he managed to make one of the best midfields in the world. For us, Wenger's kind of fitting Xhaka.
Yeah, into his midfield.
So Wenger has to take responsibility for how he's used Xhaka, and it's clear he's had this idea of what he wants in the midfield, and Xhaka's
not really fitting that.
Probably not until the summer.
Do you think? I mean, obviously, I think there's no question marks if Xhaka will stay, but do you think we will see an instant change if we were to get a new manager?
Most likely, yeah. Any manager who's Xhaka as their midfielder. Yeah, it depends on who we get. Like, say if we got Schmidt, it would be totally different. But
it would. Who would be his sort of similar replacement in that Bayer Leverkusen team? Would he? I mean, he wouldn't really fit in too well there. I mean, who are they using as their pivot? Is Aaron Greaves and is it still Bender? I haven't watched him in a while.
Recently it's been Aranguiz and Campbell.
Sorry, of course it's been Campbell. He's been balling.
Campbell, I believe.
So, I mean, personally, I feel if we finally bin Coquelin and he leaves, only change that's to happen is we give him 34. I think he's just had that number with him. Be great to see him make that iconic for years and years to come.
Yeah. 34 is Xhaka's number, Gladbach and Switzerland, so he needs it.
Needs it. All his power comes from that number.
Yeah.
Scott, Danny Welbeck's finishing. Have we seen an improvement on the off-season? Not his off-season, in the injury layoff?
I think so, yeah. I mean, especially against Liverpool was like almost similar to the one against Southampton, and they were both really hard finishes.
Yeah, he had Mignolet, who's quite quick off his line, just charging down at him. I thought it was really composed to see Klavan charging to the line and still know what he had to do. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, he was on the line as well. Could have easily... Well, it wasn't an easy finish at all.
No. Scott, is he someone who stays in the lineup for now, as he seems to be playing in games now?
I would play him, yeah.
Where, on that left role, or as a bit of relief for Giroud and Alexis?
Maybe both. I wouldn't play him up front by himself.
No.
The left or right, but giving support to whoever is up front, whether it's Alexis or Giroud.
I feel like what we saw at Southampton is whatever front four, let's say, you play, the key for fluidity is Lucas Perez. And watching Southampton, I wasn't really sure where anyone was playing. It seemed like Iwobi at attacking mid and everyone else around him was just moving and moving. I really thought that was amazing to see. And I would love for that to continue, but it didn't. But I think Welbeck would be a big part of that. I think his sort of chaos factor and his unpredictability in front of goal is really hard for defenders to defend against. And I think we see lots of either errors they make or cards conceded against him because he just takes people on, draws fouls, and occasionally gets the odd goal, which we need.
For me, Alexis and Welbeck's link up. They were absolutely amazing in that short space of he's strong, he's tall, he's quick, good of his feet, he's got high work rate. He's like a taller Eduardo Vargas for Chile.
Much more powerful, yeah. Not slumming at QPR and then off to... Is it Hoffenheim?
Yeah, exactly. He's much better. He's an upgrade on Vargas, and that's why Alexis loves to play with him. So if we were to play him up front, having Alexis on the wings wouldn't be as bad as saying having Giroud up front and Alexis on the wings.
No, I can see that. I like that. Ooh, I like the sound of that. Stronger.
He pretty much fits Ozil and Alexis.
So is that what we're hoping to see going forward? Welbeck possibly up front and Alexis back to the wings? Guys?
They'll probably rotate around mid-game anyways.
Yeah.
They could interchange when they're playing anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, incoming is a small rant about refereeing. Apologies. If anyone doesn't know who listens to this, I'm a trained, qualified FA licensed referee, and just two notes actually on the game. It was Kevin Friend, I believe, which was Leicester v not Leicester. It was Bournemouth v Man United yesterday. Man United Bournemouth, and it was possibly the worst performance of the year. He made about 5 major decisions and he got them all absolutely wrong and missed 2 more. And that was quickly followed up by one of the most decisively indecisive performance from Bobby Madley. He was showing all his hands strong and then getting them wrong, seeing fouls in front of him, exclaiming that there was no yellow card, getting it wrong. And I really think it has to change that referees have this sort of power and influence to sort of be unchallenged. And I understand why dissent rules were put in place, and it's helped me as a referee. It definitely has. But now that they're unchallenged, it seems like... I mean, it seems also like coaches are getting more angry with them, and you're seeing more touchline bans.
Mm.
And I just thought Xhaka's dissent yellow yesterday really confused me, because I was told that a dissent yellow card was speaking in an aggressive manner without a captain, or inciting some form of verbal or physical violence, which I didn't see absolutely any of from Xhaka. He was there with Koscielny, and just honestly, what I saw was him just ask about a yellow card. I might not have seen it off camera, but how he goes from not sending off Chan, or even if he gets it wrong and giving a yellow card to Matip, and then yellow carding Xhaka, just really blew my mind.
It's hard to say.
What was that?
It's hard to say because, as you said, you don't know what happened off camera. Like it looked like he was speaking pretty calmly, like, but you don't know if he was cursing at him or whatever.
No, it would have been some amazing feigned body language if he was just saying all sorts of Albanian slang.
But I don't know. It just baffles me that neither Chan or Matip got anything for that.
It's clear on replay that Chan made contact, and that was his fourth, for me, yellow card offence, and two of them came in the same play where he pulled Alexis off the ball and then delayed restart. Both of them are yellow card offences. And then he got a yellow card for a bad challenge, and then he made another one 4 minutes later. And I just remember Stephen Taylor giving a handball on the line, going down, clutching his face, and it didn't work against the referee that time. But the way Sean was on the ground, I honestly feel like that actually conned the referee there.
Maybe, yeah, because the referee could have saw it, like, maybe.
I posted some tweets about it yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw. Football is miles behind. Like, well, the top English league is miles behind Bundesliga and La Liga for referee decisions.
Especially
we've got goal.
Serie A for me, but yeah.
Yeah, especially we have goal line technology, but for referees we're miles behind. We're archaic. Even just having a neutral area who would see refereeing decisions live and could communicate with the referee, telling them, right, this is a yellow card offence, and relay that back, like rugby. That would make decisions a lot more clearer and a lot better.
Yeah, also, it would take pressure off the referees, because people, including referees and me, leave games going, shit, that was an awful performance, and it really does change a game. And if the referee just watches Match of the Day, here's how... Actually, Match of the Day don't really attack the referees much, but goes on Twitter or searches his name, he'll just see all this abuse, and it's so unnecessary, because if he was to only just get some assistance with his calls, everyone would be so much happier, and I just don't understand the objection to implementing some form of video assistance.
Yeah,
I think
for me, if you have to talk about whether referees had a good game or not, they're not doing a job right.
No,
as
exactly.
Like the Premier League as a whole, we shouldn't really be talking about referees at all. The fact that we know all the referees' names off by heart and know which ones are bad and which ones are good, that the Premier League standard of refereeing is awful.
Yeah.
Michael Oliver FC.
Michael Oliver FC. He's the only one I trust anymore, and still he has his moments of oddity. I mean, nowhere near as odd as going to Saudi Arabia to take up a new job, but
I hope he does.
He's a lesser of all the evils.
Yeah. So all we can agree on is we shouldn't know who referees are, apart from Mark Clattenburg because he's funny. Michael Oliver is the best, but he still deserves video assistance.
Yeah.
Oh, on that last point on the referees, because on that Xhaka yellow, on when we conceded that third goal, it was clear there was a look in Xhaka's eye going, "Oh, I know what to do," and then he stopped himself because he was on the yellow, which is great. But even if he wasn't on the yellow, I still think he might have thought, "No, I'm not going to take him down," which is what every midfielder would do, because I really believe there is some form of agenda against Granit Xhaka being some awful person.
Yeah, but I don't think the way he plays helps him out much.
No.
Yeah.
If he was played like Alonso is at Bayern, for example, then he would never need to do that sort of challenge. His natural default position would have been a lot deeper, and I doubt Lallana would have made a pass. Saying that, yeah, there is some sort of agenda against Xhaka. I don't really like conspiracy theories like that, like, oh, referees don't like Xhaka and stuff. I kind of ignore them, but seeing the amount that
Yeah.
I kind of believe it.
Yeah, I heard.
I don't think they don't like him. Sorry, what?
No, you keep going.
Okay, I was gonna say, I don't think they don't like him really. I think the fact that he's kind of a tall and well-built guy kind of doesn't help him either, because, like, say, Ander Herrera does a lot of the same fouls that Xhaka does, but Herrera's a lot smaller and sort of thinner, and
much more
there's like
diminutive.
and there's like a misconception that because of that Xhaka is some sort of brute tackler, which I think has an effect on like how the referee sees his tackles, I guess.
For me, it's because Xhaka is like so good looking. The referees are all jealous.
That's
Exactly
all it is. They just don't want him on the pitch, taking the attention off them, because
Yeah, exactly.
My wife is watching this.
on that last little goal, especially as we have that, I don't know what it's called, I call it line technology, which gives us a perfect offside line. I don't see how referee can have a little attachment on their watch that just does that if it's like offside, because that was marginal, and I don't blame the assistant for getting that wrong, getting that offside call wrong, because it was marginal. But the fact of the matter is, he was offside.
Yeah.
And as we have that technology, as you said, if you have some like half qualified referees or lower qualified referees just in a room with a computer who could just relay that information, I just don't see who would complain about that. I mean, apart from United fans. But other than United fans, I don't see who would complain about that.
Can I talk about the League Cup final, actually, talking about Man United and referees?
Please.
You know Gaviadini's goal that got ruled out?
Minute 5 or something, yeah.
Yeah. Looking at it again, I can understand why the referee would give it. Yeah, Gaviadini wasn't offside, but the player was kind of like... Remember, there was a player behind him, and that would have affected De Gea's decision making, which is a rule again, like,
It's
for
totally
offsides.
true. On that, I don't think, if you look at when the ball comes in, I don't think De Gea's even clocked the man behind Gabbiadini. I think if he was to turn and face Gabbiadini, he would see the player offside and that would mess him up. But that crosses past him and in the net before I even think he clocks the player. But I'm not too sure.
I think it stretches to defenders as well. If a player offside disrupts the flow of play, I think it is technically offside, even if he doesn't touch the ball. I don't know, that offside rule really confused me, and I keep looking at it, I'm like, I can understand, but yeah, it should have been an onside goal, but I'm trying to think of the decision making of the assistants.
Yeah, I think it should have been given. The goal should have been given, but I can see if the assistant says that player's offside, that will interfere with De Gea. He's wrong, but I can see why he would be trained and be told to give that as an offside call.
Yeah, I was just self-advocating because it's like stuff like that in games which can really confuse. I reckon it confuses the assistants a little bit. Like, did they give like a decision like that if they think a player offside's disrupting play? Because it's so subjective.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so vague as well.
Yeah, like who was it? Was it not Sané's goal, Sterling's goal against us, David Silva definitely kicks a foot out before check from an offside position, and that goal passes him at his near post. That near post, which David Silva's made a play at. So, as you've said, no means bias here. I mean, the difference with the Gabbiadini and the Redmond, rather than the Silva and Sterling, was Czech can see both of them. But I'm not. I mean, I can understand if you're going to call me biased for saying that one of them shouldn't be disallowed and one of them should. So, I mean, God, would it be so hard to get a fifth official just in the stands, in the director's box?
Just like back and communicate with the referees. I don't even think video.
Oh, there was so much noise.
Sorry. That's me.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah, I think just like having a fifth official, as you said, just who's somewhere where he can watch all these big calls back and just communicate to the referees. Like, you don't even need like a massive screen telling you what the decision was if you have him.
No.
Yeah.
Is it true? And I'm not sure that in the press box or the journalism section in the stadium, don't they have like 5-inch screens in the desk? Is that the case? Does anyone know that?
No idea, because I'm not a journalist.
It's fair enough. Aspiring.
I've been.
I thought there was something like, because I remember the thing I'm thinking of is, this is such a specific memory, is Tim Sherwood throwing off his gilet, then going over to watch something on the screen, and then going to the fourth official and say, "Oh, he's wrong there." If anyone can correct me or confirm to me on Twitter when you hear this, that'd be great. But I'm sure there was something like that.
I think you're just out of your mind.
I've out of my mind. I mean, the only one who liked Sherwood, so I'm clearly out of my mind.
I think you're having fantasies about Tim Sherwood, to be honest.
Sherwood in. It's needed.
Yeah. Just to clarify, we're not blaming referee decisions for the loss against.
No, not at all. I would just like them to improve. And I'm not even blaming referees for that.
The refereeing as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they get it. I mean, we are salty because we were shit.
Yeah.
But we should have had a man up for about 20 minutes, and the third goal shouldn't have counted. But oh well. We deserve. Disclaimer: we deserved to lose. Okay. Okay, so I've got a few questions here from @the_Perez_chip. We've sort of covered Coquelin being shit. Oh, well, I mean, he says why. Why has Coquelin become so shit?
If you want to know the answer to that, just follow me on Twitter.
Right. Shameless plug @CentralRamsey.
Basically.
Yeah. And as a translator for Chris's tweets, I think you should also follow me.
Yeah.
Okay, he also asks, this also comes from Katie. What's her name now? Is it @WatsonFC02?
Yeah.
Something like that. @Katie. You know Katie. So this is also from her and @the_Perez_chip, @Cacao_awesome. What's our bin list for the summer?
Ooh.
I've got mine. If I'm happy to start, if you guys would indulge me. Petr Cech. And I love him. He's daddy goals, but I feel there's no point, even if we were to keep Szczesny and Ospina. First of all, having 3 quality goalkeepers is a bad dynamic. And second of all, having the older one on the bench is a bad dynamic. I shall continue. Monreal. Possibly Gibbs, but I'm not sure. If he's happy to play cover, I don't really mind him. Mertesacker has had his contract triggered. I wouldn't have done that, but he has. Jenkinson, Debussy. I think Jenkinson will never leave us, but Debussy. It's almost the point where I think I saw Debussy was on 65k, and I think it's almost the point where a contract termination would possibly be best if no one takes him. Who else? Coquelin. Please leave, Coquelin. I'm done. Anyone else? Santi's staying. Possibly Jack. I don't know what I feel about Jack. I'm not there yet. That's pretty much it. Possibly Iwobi on loan. But other than that, I think we've got a pretty good squad right now.
Our bin list is longer than the transfer list.
Yeah, definitely. Our squad is good.
Yeah.
We have a few people we need to leave.
Yeah.
But, okay, Chris, a bin list from you.
Alright. On my list first. Look, Szczesny's all good and everything like that, but we bought Czech to replace him because he wasn't good enough. I've not been impressed with him at Roma, which people might destroy me for, but I'm used to it. But yeah, I just don't.
Right now.
Like, Szczesny is better than Czech, yeah, but we don't want just better than Czech. We want
Like one of the best goalkeepers in the world.
not maybe one of the best, just someone who would be like top 3 in the Premier League kind of thing.
One of the best would be helpful though.
Yeah, I mean, if Neuer decides to leave, you know what?
Yeah.
So you're
next
saying
to-
Szczesny and Czech?
No, not Czech. Like, Czech's bad, yeah, but imagine if he could. A young goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Just having him around would be really good for squad morale.
So you
'Cause
keep
he is a
Czech,
leader.
but confirm that he is a squad player then.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically, yes.
What about?
He wouldn't be a backup keeper, I don't think.
Do you not think he'd
Well,
mind?
no.
I don't know. I'm not sure about Ospina, but Ospina does have his uses, I guess.
Sorry, I like
Maybe
him. He's
just
just a
giving
funny
Czech-
man.
Just keep him as a meme.
Yeah. I think having Czech as like a higher role in Arsenal would be pretty clever as well.
Like a partial coaching role or something.
Yeah, like a goalkeeper coach or something.
If he worked as our second keeper and helped out a lot with the 23s, that would be really interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
But then again, does that happen often? Not really.
No.
I think
What?
next on my list is probably Monreal. His decline from last season is
It's staggering.
it's huge. Then again, he was like this the last couple of months of the season last year, so I guess we're just not used to it. But yeah, it is staggering how quickly he declined.
For me, he was honestly, bias aside, possibly the best left back in the league last year. And now I don't hate seeing him in the lineup because we're
Definitely.
there with Gibbs, but it's much scarier seeing him now.
Yeah.
However, Cohen Bramall.
Oh.
Oh,
Ooh.
did anyone
I
watch the
think-
Chelsea match? That Chelsea match, guys.
The 23.
I
Yeah,
didn't.
the under 23s to Chelsea. Did anyone see it?
Yeah, I watched it.
I was remarkably impressed with Bramall.
Bramall was good, but he did have to recover a lot
He
using his
did the
pace.
thing we thought he'd do,
Yeah,
but on what we expected to see, he did that, I think, in spades. He made great runs, looked to link that transition on the left side quite well. Put in a couple tackles, one tackle in the box I quite liked. But no, actually I'm joking, not Bramall. I'd take Grimaldo, please.
Bowler deserves a chance at left back, going by how he's played. Having him as like a backup left back, selling Gibbs and Monreal and getting a first choice left back would maybe quite clever.
Pardon my ignorance, where's he gone on loan to?
Who?
Bola.
I can't remember where he went on loan to.
Is it a lower league or did he go abroad?
I'll have a check quickly.
Go for it.
With the goalkeeper situation, if you're binning these goalkeepers, what's the story with Martinez?
I like Martinez quite a lot actually. I think he's got really good potential.
He's our best distributor by miles.
Yeah.
He has that sort of Latin American vibe to his playstyle. I think it was quite interesting to see that his ambition when he renewed, was it a 6-year contract? Was to say, I want to be Arsenal's number one. Which was quite...
Passion.
Yeah, it's #passion. Because, he's 23 now, and he's third choice. I feel... Like, I think a lot of our fans like him, but none of us would be comfortable starting the season, Liverpool at home, 17-18, with him in goal. So...
I think it's important to remember that goalkeepers don't mature until about 27. That's when they start becoming like their best.
It's true.
Apart from a couple like world-class keepers like Neuer and De Gea. Yeah, it's only 27. And Martinez still got a few years until he does mature into a really good keeper. I think it is just a case of maybe one day having him as second choice and having like a new keeper.
The problem is, one of my possible replacements I was looking at was, I'd love Gigi 2.0, but I don't think he'll leave Milan. I was thinking of Alban Lafont, but I think it would be a bad sort of standard if we have our younger keeper, our youngest of the 4 keepers, being our starting keeper. Yeah. So I think you need like a major reshuffle if you were to look to bring in Alban Lafont.
I think Edison plays for Benfica is a good shout.
Edison? Yeah, he's young, but he's not like staggeringly young that you're amazed he's playing. He's like 23, right?
4, I think.
4, that's perfect,
which
yeah.
Still pretty young, but he's...
Or Leno.
Leno's a good keeper. I like Leno.
I rate Leno. Didn't he have like a release clause this January that no one activated?
I think people would have activated it, especially City. But yeah, I don't know if he did. If that was just rumors.
Yeah, it was. It was Kicker who come out with everything, saying I think in the summer he has like an 8 million euros release clause, but in the January it was like 12 million. But I think we would have heard a lot more about that if that was the case. Maybe
the agent just rejected all offers. The thing is, release clauses, they are in there, but it's fully down to the player. And if the player doesn't...
Yeah. That's true. What about a slightly older keeper, but like older so he would come in and settle the first choice, but not too old like Czech? I was thinking...
27, yeah.
I was thinking like 29 maybe. Who was the thing? They've been doing quite poorly, but I always, whenever I see him, I rate Jan Sommer. I thought he was great in the Euros. I thought he's good whenever I watch him for Borussia Mönchengladbach, but they're doing quite poorly this year, so...
Yeah, Sommer is a good keeper, and he is a potential one.
What about Darren Randall?
Fuck. He's on the shortlist. I'm sure of it, Scott. Where's he from? Is he from anywhere near you?
50 at least.
I don't know. He's Irish anyway.
He's Irish. It's close enough.
I typed him in on Google and I got Randall from Monsters Inc. So that tells me everything I need to know.
God, he'd be a great goalkeeper. He could like camouflage in the box. He'd be like, "Where's he gone?" He just jumps up in the air, catches the ball. Be amazing.
Also got Randall from Recess.
No, I much prefer Randall from Monsters Inc. I think he's who we need. I think.
Did nobody just hear my pun?
No, I missed it, mate. Go for it again.
When you were talking about Randall and how he can like. Whatever you said, I was like,
yeah,
that's it. Yeah, I just said I think he's the clear winner.
Oh no, Chris, I like that one. I'm going for that. I'm happy. Part of the day goes to Scott. Unlucky, Chris.
Hold the applause.
Okay, I'm gonna kill myself now.
I got 2 more here. What? says apparently a planned protest, but as we saw from the one in Chile over Alexis, sometimes they don't go to plan. But there's a planned protest. That was really hilarious. An anti-Wenger or Wenger out. Probably not anti-Wenger. That's probably not fair. But a protest before the Bayern Munich game. This question is protesting during a UCL match a good reflection on a club as big as Arsenal?
It's a terrible reflection, and I hate protests in general, mainly because they won't do anything.
Yeah.
Like we've been protesting for what, 10 years now for some people.
Yeah. Like
DT, and it just doesn't work. No man of dissent will ever influence the board's decision. He is our club legend. He's our best ever manager, and we do have to respect them. It's no use doing protests when his future's definitely in doubt. So
more in doubt, I would say, than it ever has been.
Yeah, he hasn't. It's March now. There's no new deal being like it's rumored, but has he nothing's happened.
No,
and that's why I'm really skeptical.
I'm quite sure this is his last year. And I was talking, and he probably listened now, to a friend of mine, Adam. He was saying I don't tweet much about Wenger out. It's because I don't want to. People have their Twitters what they want. They curate what they want. I know my views on Wenger, and I know he'll possibly be the greatest man in my life. Apologies to any parent of mine who's listening. But, and I would love the North Bank to be named after him, because I'd love my season ticket to be the Arsene Wenger stand. But I do feel there is a clear, possibly not regression, but plateau of what is offered. And I think the board is starting to realise that, but however loud, however big the numbers are you shout, we have no say.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, definitely don't.
And UCL matches have always brought a few protests, but I mean, people are always upset when they go out. I don't understand why City boo the Champions League anthem and then get so scared to drop to the Europa League. Sort of respect the occasion, respect the opponents. Also, respect Wenger. Just come in. You're gonna come in and enjoy the football anyway. I mean, you're not gonna enjoy it. You're gonna spend your whole 90 minutes screaming, but. Yeah. So I'm sort of anti-protest. I don't mind people protesting, but I would never do it, and I don't see what they achieve.
I do kind of hope he goes just for his sake more than anything.
I'm there as well.
Yeah, I just can't describe myself as a quote Wenger out brigade.
No, I never could. No.
For one thing, it's cringy as hell, and then
brigade.
Yeah.
I used to think it was. I honestly thought it was just the wob. They just liked the sound of it.
I am a wob.
I am the wob. Okay, Scotty, you can take this one.
Okay.
With Wenger, say he's leaving. I don't think any manager in world football does his job, is that level of manager. Surely you'd have to see some form of director of football come in, or sporting director. And Robert Perez has openly admitted to wanting the job, and I think Mark Overmars does it at Ajax. Do you think that's something we should look to do?
Maybe. I don't really know how the positions on the board work, but having Robert Perez as the director of football would be really cool.
And how sexy would it be? Whew.
I know. And he's already, if I remember rightly, he's already said he'd like Griezmann, which I'm sure Chris is a fan of.
Yeah, we need Perez in immediately.
Yeah. If that affects Perez's first team plans, then I strongly disagree. But
no, of course, no.
Yeah.
Surely Perez for Perez.
Yeah.
That is one thing Bayern do quite well. Don't they like having ex-players involved in the team? And one of the big criticisms from the board you hear from the likes of DT and his, I hate even mentioning his name, and his protest cronies is how the board knows nothing, they don't understand the football club. And I actually do think there's something there. And I would like to see, I mean, Marco Overmars has done a pretty good job. They've kept the club's tradition of getting young players through the ranks, the scouting programs.
That depends on perspective, though. I've heard lots of people from like fans of Ajax that I know personally that say that he's done a terrible job.
Oh,
And-
really?
Yeah, and they're not a big fan of him at all.
Oh, I've got, I think, one friend of mine's a fan of Ajax who really likes him, but he's not Dutch.
Football.
He's a foreign fan. What
Yeah,
what do they say his what are the criticisms of him?
I can't remember what it was, but maybe it was just to focus too much on youth.
Really, the sort of hindrance of success.
Don't quote me that, like, because I'm just relaying what I know. I didn't really ask in depth. I just asked.
Yeah.
Overall, I like the idea of a director of football because there is, like, Wenger has a lot of power in Arsenal. Like, he pretty much does, like, responsibility of where.
Yeah, he's everything.
So, yeah. And if you look at Man United, like, what happened there with Woodward essentially being.
Yeah, the head of the club.
It depends on who we get. Yeah. Because we've got Gazidis as our head of the club, I think. Or like
He's the chief, but he has nowhere near the amount of influence that Woodward has.
Yeah. I'm quite optimistic, and I think the director of football will be a really nice, like, refreshment of the club. But it depends who we get. Like, Perez would be good, but there's nothing to say that he would be a brilliant director of football. Like, he's never done it before.
No, he just says he wants to do it. That's his resume. He would like to.
And he's cool.
And he's really cool. Can you imagine him in a suit in
as well.
director's board every game?
He gets my vote.
He gets my vote. Perez for Perez.
Let's make Perez great again.
Make Perez great again. Okay, any last... should we mention Bayern? Predicted score? No.
I'd say 2-0 Arsenal.
Really? I mean, you said we might win the last time, but okay.
Well, it's 2-0 at home. We've done it before.
We've done it before.
So that's why I'm saying it.
Great, 2-0. Scott, your birthday game.
Well, in the last few years, they haven't lost on the game that fell on my birthday, so
Ooh.
I would say a 2-1 win.
2-1 win. And I'm going to be the only one in the stadium, and I'm going to say 3-1 loss. Okay, I think...
A wob.
Yeah, and that will be my full transmission to being the wob. Well, guys, thanks.
At least we're going to get knocked out by Bayern this year, not Monaco.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's always more respect on that one. I think I might wrap this one up then, guys. Thanks for joining me.
No worries.
It's been a great pleasure from Freddie, Chris, and Scott. Have a better week ahead. Adios,
Don't be
amigos.